Good evening, and welcome to the 27th edition of the webinar LIVRESQ Empower Your Teaching. We have a very exciting topic for tonight. I'm going to be speaking for about 15 minutes, and then I'll answer some questions. Also, as I speak, I'm going to try and cover all of the questions that were asked during the registration. And then for those who registered or who've sent questions my way and cannot make it and are watching a recording of this, if you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments either on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Because I know that we have a lot of audience members that can't typically make it to these webinars, but are watching the recording. So the reason why I've chosen this topic for tonight is that we've been getting a lot of questions, and we also have a few updates. I spoke a little bit about this last week. I've shown you how to integrate text to speech in general, but we have some new voices that have recently been added to LIVRESQ. And I just want to show you what's new and maybe take a more in-depth look at text to speech and what text to speech is and what you can do with it. All right, so without further ado, I'll begin. I'll be sharing my screen, and this time I won't forget to also share sound because it's also important that we hear what we generate. So this is a project that I've previously created using artificial intelligence. It's also worth noting from the very beginning that anything to do with text to speech and generating text and generating speech from text, generating sound in LIVRESQ is a premium feature. So if you want to be able to do this in LIVRESQ, you need to pay for a premium account. It's not very expensive. You can use our website to sort of check it out. And you'll see just how powerful it is and how many things you can do essentially with text to speech. So the easiest way to go about this is to look at it in terms of adding text to speech or generating text to speech, first of all, for the audio resource. Because what we're doing is taking a piece of text and using it to create an audio file, which means that the easiest way to use it is by adding an audio file to your project, to your lesson, by dragging and dropping it like so. And then we'll double click this audio resource to enter the editing mode. And on the right-hand side, we have three options here. Upload and record don't have anything to do with text-to-speech, and they're also available for free accounts. But if you have a premium LIVRESQ account, you can generate an audio. If you click on generate, you have a few options, and we'll talk about them in a second. But I just want to take a piece of text because if you've seen how this works, how generating an entire project with AI works, we have text that was generated by AI about sound. I've thought it was a good idea to create a lesson about sound since we're talking about text to speech. And this is like a physics, very easy explanations. I've asked it to create basically a lesson explaining what sound is to 10-year-olds. So it's not a very advanced topic. It's not a very advanced actually explanation. The topic is pretty advanced. So I'm just going to take a bit of the text that was generated here, go back to my audio resource, click on change again, and then generate. And I will just paste the text here. Now, first of all, we can choose the language. And it's automatically, because my interface is in English, and my project is in English, it's automatically selected for English US, but you have a lot of English accents to choose from, and that's just for English. And you can generate voices in any language in the world. And I say this without hesitation because you can really find a lot of combinations in a lot of languages. I haven't yet received a request for a language that could not be found here. So just for English, look at how many accents we can choose from. So you can go from Australia, Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, India, Nigeria, Kenya. So you have a lot of choice for English, and you typically have a lot of choice for very widely spoken languages, French as well, German as well, Spanish. I think you have a few versions as well. And it's just really interesting, especially if you're creating text, if you're creating audios for language lessons, for instance. So we're just going to leave it for US. The list of voices, because the next step is selecting a voice, is really long this time. So we've added a lot of voices recently, and you really have a lot of choice. Some of them have the word HD next to them. The sound quality is a little bit better because you have generally an HD version and a normal version. I personally can't really tell the difference. Maybe with better speakers or with headphones, you can actually tell the difference. But the file is a little bit larger and the quality is a little bit better, supposedly. So after you select a voice, and I'm just going to go with maybe aria. I did this on purpose. Some voices, especially for widely spoken languages like English, also have a style. Again, another drop down with a long list of how you want that voice to say the text. So it can be a customer service like, it can be narration like, cheerful, empathetic, angry, sad. We'll just go with general first and hear what it sounds like. Just to mention before we actually generate that we can also select the speed and the pitch. If you feel that the voice is speaking maybe too fast or too slow, you can adjust the speed here. And if you feel that it's speaking too low, or if you want it to sound like a child, we can also adjust the pitch. But let's just generate voices without any of the settings and hear what it sounds like.
Sound is a fascinating subject in the world of physics. It's something we encounter every day, but have you ever stopped to think about what sound really is?
Okay, so we have questions, we have intonation for questions. This is the normal speed. The style is general. Now let's see, maybe we go with whispering because this is going to be a lot different. And then we'll go into generate.
Sound is a fascinating subject in the world of physics. It's something we encounter every day, but have you ever stopped to think about what sound really is?
It's really fascinating once you start playing with this, uh, because there's really a lot to see and a lot to test out. But as you can hear, she pronounces the question, so she does the right intonation for the question. The whispering really worked. Now, if I want this to sound, for instance, maybe like a child, I'm going to increase the pitch here. Maybe this will be a little bit too high, but let's see.
Sound is a fascinating subject in the world of physics. It's something we encounter every day, but have you ever stopped to think about what sound really is?
Okay, so this is one of the ways we can really make it sound like a child, because a question that we get a lot, since we're talking about lessons, many of them for children, we have a lot of teachers who teach the children and who want to create childlike voices. You can do that by adjusting the pitch. We don't have voices that actually there are some voices that sound very childlike, but obviously in our very brief time together, I won't be able to test all of them out. Plus, I really want to show you other accents as well. There are some childlike voices, but you can basically turn any voice into a child by adjusting the pitch. The speed is pretty obvious. I'm just going to go with really fast, just so that you can hear the difference.
Sound is a fascinating subject in the world of physics. It's something we encounter every day, but have you ever stopped to think about what sound really is?
So this was really, really fast. Now let's see how accurate. I'm trying to put it back to 1, but hold on. I'll just use my keyboard. It's easier. And we'll also leave the pitch to 0. Very fine adjusting for the speed. All right, so if we want to try out another accent, and we'll go with something a little bit more widely spread, like a British accent. We have different voices. Some of them are the same, actually. Some of them are the same across all languages. But we also have different voices that we can try from. Some of the voices, because we're talking about Great Britain, a British accent that's quite widely spread, also have voice styles. But voice styles are limited to each voice. Not all voices have them, and some have more options than others. We don't have as many options for instance, Libby doesn't even have a voice style, but we don't have as many options for British English as we do for American English. So let's generate this in a British accent, maybe this time using a male voice. Excuse me. Maybe we'll use Oliver and see what he sounds like.
Sound is a fascinating subject in the world of physics. It's something we encounter every day, but have you ever stopped to think about what sound really is?
All right, so now we have generated this. One more option that I want to cover before we can actually, before we'll actually save this, or actually, once we click save, the audio is integrated into our lesson as we've generated it. It sounds the same. It is the same. It's basically the audio we've generated. If we go into view mode for this row only, I can now play it.
Sound is a fascinating subject in the world of physics. It's something we encounter every day, but have you ever
And
stopped to
obviously listen to it. We'll probably learn this text by heart. So I've stopped it. Just one sec. Okay, that's fine. So now we have an audio of the sound we generated. A really important thing that I want to point out is that you can also download this file as an MP3. So maybe if you want to create a dialogue, you can use software outside LIVRESQ. It's really easy. You even have some online options for this, where you can put together MP3, so generated voices, to create dialogue. We don't have the option to create or to add various sound effects, for instance, but you can download MP3, like voices, lines for each character, and then put them together in the order that makes sense and create a dialogue. And this is the download button. The more advanced way to edit text, so maybe this is great, but I really want a pause, or maybe I want a certain intonation for certain words. We also give you the possibility to edit SSML, which is code that you can use for text generation. This is really useful, for instance, when you want to add a break in speech. So if you want the speaker, the voice, to stop, to make a pause, and whatever is given to you by a comma, for instance, is not enough, or by a full stop, then you can use maybe this code for a break time. So for instance, I've already written something here, a little text. If you're a little bit familiar with HTML, you'll know that the speak and the end of speak need to stay there, but we're just going to change the middle. And let's choose a different voice. Maybe we'll choose an American voice again. By the way, this is just to give you a brief idea of how many languages we have and how many versions, even of Chinese, we have. So it's really a lot to choose from. I was talking about Spanish, so Spanish also gets a lot of versions. So let's go back to English, United States. We'll go to, really, it doesn't matter. Let's try something we haven't tried before. Maybe this one here. And now let's see what happens when we insert without a break, actually. I'll remove the break temporarily.
This is a sound.
She says this is a sound. And then if I insert the break time for 200 milliseconds, this is what it means.
This is a sound.
She takes a little bit of a pause. If I want this to be longer or shorter, I can adjust the time here. So maybe I go for a longer break.
This is a sound.
So she took a longer break here. Again, once I click save, I can integrate this and it's inside my lesson. And now the MP3 that you can download contains this. And the MP3 that is integrated in the lesson will feature the sound that we've just generated. The option raw SSML here means that you get to edit more of the text. You get to edit more advanced features. So this is for the people who are really passionate about SSML, understand how it works, and really want to add more editing to it. All right. So this is a really easy way to use text-to-speech. We generate an audio file. Another way we can use it to be really useful, however, is to have the avatar, our virtual assistant or message, say something. We call the resource speech in English. If you generate a project using artificial intelligence, you already have two of these guys placed here, which means that when we open our project, we have the little assistant here, but he's not saying anything because we haven't generated the text for him. So to generate the text for him, we will select him by using a single click, and then on the right-hand side, under his properties or its properties, under sound, we again have the same option. So we can either upload an MP3 from a source, we can generate or record ourselves saying something. We'll use generate again. We have the exact same generator. It's already copied the text that I have in the content of the avatar, of the virtual assistant. So on the screen, it says, "Welcome to the course." The text is automatically inputted in this text box here. And all I have to do is select my language, select my voice. Let's use a male voice maybe. I'm not sure if echo is male, but Stefan should be. And we'll just generate.
Welcome to the course.
Welcome, he says welcome to the course. I click on save. And now when I open the course again,
Welcome to the course.
he automatically starts talking when we reach the assistant. And we also get a sound input. There are many different settings we can change for the assistant, including what he does. You can add multiple postures, multiple animations. I've seen courses where people added animations of the avatar laughing, for instance. And you can really enhance this with voices that have a lot of inflections, so a lot of voice style options. What's really important to know, though, and easy to use, is the fact that whatever the avatar says, whatever the virtual assistant says, doesn't need to match what's in the content box. So if in the content box, in this speech bubble we have, here are the key points of this course, and maybe I want to add more or have him say something else, I can just go into generate. I will not change the text in the content, but I can change the text here. Look at what we'll learn. And then we click on generate.
Look at we'll learn.
At what? This is a great way to check what you're writing by using text-to-speech.
Look at what we'll learn.
Okay, I'll save this. And now, if I open the course,
Welcome to the course.
we have this avatar. We'll click on
Look at
continue.
what we'll learn.
So even though the speech bubble says something, the text that we generated is completely different. This is really useful when maybe you don't want to write the entire text on the screen. You just want like a small introduction of hello or a little bit of the text, but you still want the avatar to say everything that is on the screen or to explain something more in depth without you having to write out everything he will say in the content box. And again, for the avatar, it's exactly the same text generation, speech generation, text-to-speech box, the same options, the possibility to edit SSML as well. So these are two of the options. And a third option is for videos. And I've already generated a video here, but I'll show you on a preset, on a pre-filled in video. So basically, LIVRESQ video, this is what it looks like. We'll just add a new one. We'll double click to edit. Then under change video, it will say AI generated. And here we have the possibility to choose a character. The difference between regular text-to-speech that I've been showing you so far tonight is the fact that here we also have a character that will use this voice and the text will be, or the speech will be lip-synced. So it will really look like this is the avatar, this is the person that is speaking. I won't go into other features of the video generation, like background and changing background or inserting gestures, because they can also perform some gestures. What I did do, however, is generate a video previously. It takes a while, that's why I didn't want to do it on camera necessarily. I took some of the text that it generated again. I inserted it into the generator. I chose my character. Again, I did not insert any gestures or any breaks. I left the speed as was. The list of voices is here. You can even go to SSML again. And then I generated my video. And this is what my video is like.
Sound is a fascinating phenomenon that we experience every day. It is a form of energy that is produced when an object vibrates, creating waves that travel through mediums such as air, water, or metal.
Okay, so now this was lip synced as well. And the fact that we can add gestures, it can really enhance the videos we create. And the fact that we have a character, and soon there'll be more features regarding how we can integrate this and how we can change the background. So far, we only have two options for background. You can create this lip synced video of an avatar explaining something, and you can also download this video for future editing. It's the same button, except this time it's right here. So if you want to download this video file that was generated, you can do so and edit it somewhere else if you need to. And this is basically it for text generation. I hope I covered most of the questions that were in the forms. We also had a question, a very interesting question regarding teaching music. Because it was, I mean, it has to do with sound. We cannot generate music in LIVRESQ so far. There's no way to do that. But we can integrate, also read music. We don't have an app, we don't have an inbuilt LIVRESQ resource for that. But you can integrate apps from other sources if you need to. So if you're using sources that are not LIVRESQ, like learning apps, Wordwall, any other source, basically, that allows for the integration inside for embedding, because that's what we do. We embed using an iframe code, so you can really use apps and games that you already using and integrate them inside the lesson. So I guess this is one way that it works for teaching music, in terms of teaching music and reading music at the same time. But of course, any other resources that you could normally use, like adding videos, adding quizzes, adding sound files, works very well, and you can integrate everything in order to create a resource that is really useful for teaching music. And another question was from somebody who said that they teach French. And again, for voice generation, for French, we have a few options as well. So we have 4 French accents that you can choose from. You can integrate text, you can generate text using artificial intelligence, create dialogues, create really useful audio files for your students. And I think I covered most of everything. If there are any other questions from our participants, whether you're on Facebook or on Zoom, this is the time. Thank you so much for the appreciation. If not, we'll meet back here in 2 weeks' time at the same time, basically. So in 2 weeks, we do this webinar every Thursday, but not every Thursday, once every 2 weeks on Thursdays at 6 p.m. CET or 7 p.m. Romanian time, because we are a Romanian company. So if you want to join us again, make sure to catch us there. And if you cannot make it at this particular time, the recordings are available on Facebook and also on YouTube. So thank you so much. I will see you in 2 weeks' time.